Hello, welcome back to another episode. Here I am just drawing some designs for this character. Might be someone I intend to animate at some point, I don't know, but I thought during this design process here I might as well record this and share it with you. As you can see, I have already drawn a few iterations of the character, so I've started to get a sense of what he should look like. If I was to animate this guy, I think it's a good idea to have drawn him a few times before committing to a final design. Drawing him in a few different angles to get a sense of how he poses, and along the way I might also come up with a few new design decisions. So let's see where this leads. Now I'll do a more focused drawing of the head. These are still in a sketch phase, so when I have them fleshed out, I will use this as a guide to draw my final image. Okay, here we are in a new Photoshop file. I brought over one of the sketches I liked, and I will now draw on top of this. I am lowering the opacity of the sketch, and then I will draw on a new layer on top. I think a pretty cool style that you sometimes see in animations for characters is to use a small brush without pressure sensitivity turned on. It's basically a line with a consistent thickness. I'll try that for this image. Now it's time for some colors. The coloring is most of the time what takes the longest for me, and deciding on what colors to use can be tricky. I like experimenting with different approaches, testing what colors work and what I think fits the character. I try to use complementary colors and use some main tones that has more saturation than others. In most cases, not always, but often, a few tones I find is better than mixing the entire color wheel. And if you want several different colors, then maybe have one or two to be the more saturated and driving colors and use less saturated versions for the others. For example, the skin tone and the hair are sort of in the same realm here, and I would count them as one of the driving colors, and then the blue jacket, which is a complementary color to yellow, is the other driving one. Colors are a very complex thing, and I'm always trying to get my head around what to use and how to use them best. I think there are a lot of ways to go about it, so don't be afraid to test it out and take it to extremes. You don't want to be limited by theories of what to use and what not to use. Like, find color schemes that you like and use them. For the second drawing, I used the lasso tool to create a layer mask for the character. That makes it so much faster when you block in the colors. I should have done that on the first one as well. For shading, I always tend to use the same trick. I create a new layer and put it on top of my color layer. I then right click on the layer and set it to be a clipping mask. That uses the layer below as a mask, and that will only allow it to paint within that mask. I then set my clipping mask layer to a somewhat low opacity and I paint with black. That is now my shadow. You can decide where your light comes from and try to figure out where you would get your shadows. My light on this guy seems to come from the top left, so the back of his head will be in shadow, and also his head will cast a shadow onto his shoulder. Alright, that's it for this video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel for future videos. Hope you liked it. If you did, hit the like button. And yeah, have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.